Unfortunately, several of these workouts are highly popular even though they have the potential to be more harmful than beneficial. Although it's a widespread misunderstanding, not every piece of equipment you'll find in a gym is safe and efficient to use. Basic dumbbells and barbells are frequently more efficient than the bulk of complicated machines you generally meet, even if having variety of machines in a gym may be helpful for drawing members. I'm going to focus on just 6 machines today. You'd be better off replacing them or changing how to utilize them. But before we continue, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Number 1. Smith Machine. Let's begin with the popular Smith machine. With the Smith machine can be effective for certain exercises that are specific to its design, many people use it as a substitute for exercise like squats, deadlifts, and bench press, which are originally meant to be done with a regular barbell. Some believe that using Smith machine press reduces the risk of injury, but this is not accurate. The issue lies in the fact that the Smith machine restricts your range of motion and enforces a fixed barbell path. For instance, when performing a bench press on a Smith machine, the barbell is forced to move up and down in a straight line. This can be detrimental to your shoulders and increase the likelihood of flaring your elbows. In contrast, a regular bench press allows you for a more natural arc-like motion from leg out to your chest. The same issue applies to squat on Smith machine. The fixed range of motion provided by the Smith machine is not biomechanically natural. Consequently, most people end up leaning back against the bar instead of maintaining proper form. This leaning back compromises the engagement of your core, glutes, and hamstrings. Moreover, if you were to lean back in the same manner while using a regular barbell, you would lose balance and fall backward, exposing your joints to unfavorable positions. Since the Smith machine stabilizes the bar for you, it diminishes the activation of stabilizer muscles by approximately 43% compared to regular barbell squats. This can lead to lazy lifting technique and only yield a fraction of the results achievable with barbells and dumbbells, especially in terms of functional strength. Number 2. Hip abduction and adduction machine. Another machine to be cautious is the hip abduction and adduction machine. These machines are commonly used to train the glutes and inner thighs, but there are more effective alternatives available such as squats and lunges. Both of these exercises requires heavy loads to provide a challenge. One immediate issue with the hip abduction and adduction machine is that they do not replicate how your body naturally lifts heavy loads in real-life situations. Muscle targeted by these machines are primarily engaged for stabilization rather than force output, as would be the case during single-leg activities like walking lunges. Moreover, excessive use of the hip abduction machine can strain the tensor fasciae latae (TFL) muscle, which can lead to tightness and pull the iliotibial IT band, often resulting knee pain. Additionally, the heavy weights used on these machines can increase the risk of lower back injuries. Number 3. Leg press. Now let's discuss leg press machine. Fortunately, you don't have to eliminate the leg press entirely, but I recommend modifying how you use it, especially if you have lower back issues. Many people consider the leg press to be a safer alternative to barbell squats for the lower back, but that's not entirely true. When using the leg press, your back is pressed against the pad in a way that makes it increasingly difficult to maintain the natural lumbar curve as your knees bend and approach your chest. As you go deeper into the movement, your pelvis starts to round forward while being pinned between the weight and the pad. Dr. Stuart McGill, a renowned professor and researcher who has studied back pain mechanism and rehabilitation for over 30 years, stated in his book Low Back Disorders that the leg press can sometimes cause the pelvis rotate away from the backrest, leading to lumbar flexion and potentially herniating conditions for your spinal disc. This means that you can only perform short reps in a limited range of motion, and when you decide to go lower for extra stretch, you can run the risk of serious lower back injuries. For most people, it's better to replace the leg press with exercises that allow for a fuller range of motion, such as squats, lunges, or Bulgarian split squats. These exercises help develop your posterior chain, core, and entire lower body in a way that is more applicable to real-life activities, such as lifting a bag off the floor. When you perform squats, almost every muscle is recruited, including the stabilizer muscles in your feet, which is actively preventing you from losing balance. On the other hand, the leg press machine stabilizes everything for you. However, I understand that many people still enjoy using leg press. In that case, I recommend using it as a finisher at the end of your leg workout after exhausting your legs with exercise like squats and lunges. By doing this, you don't need to use excessive weight for the leg press to be effective. Number 4. Seated twist machine. Next, let's discuss the torso rotation machine, also known as the seated twist machine. If you want to avoid spinal injuries, I would recommend staying away from this machine. Typically, you place your knees between two pads and rotate your lower body from side to side. There are several issues with this machine. Firstly, if you accidentally rotate too far during a repetition, it can lead to serious injuries to your spine and disc. If you still plan on using this machine, I strongly suggest limiting your range of motion and using lighter weights to minimize the risk. Secondly, even when performing the exercise carefully, the lumbar spine is not designed to handle this type of twisting movement. The higher segments of the spine, such as the thoracic spine, are more suited for rotational movements. The suited twist machine locks your upper body in a place while requiring you to twist your lower body, placing additional pressure on the lower spine, which is not designed for this type of twisting motion. In terms of athletic performance, the core's primary function is to decelerate rotational forces rather than accelerate them. Therefore, seated twist machine does not align with the natural mechanics of core function. Considering the risk of injury and the limited effectiveness for core development, it doesn't make sense to use this exercise. There are safer and more efficient alternatives available for training your core. Number 5. Seated Crunch. Now let's talk about the seated crunch machine. While this machine does not target your abdominal muscles, there are much better exercises available for developing your abs with lower injury risk. Exercise like stability ball crunches, decline sit-ups, and weighted leg raises with pulse-ups provide superior results for abdominal development. For example, stability ball crunches engage your core in a more functional way, allowing for a greater range of motion. Decline sit-ups and weighted leg raises also provide abdominal stimulation. The seated crunch machine, on the other hand, starts with your core and torso already in a fixed position, with your legs locked behind pads. This flexed position is something many people already spend a significant portion of their day in, especially if they have a sedentary lifestyle. The machine restricts your ability to move through a full range of motion on each crunch, limiting the effectiveness of the exercise. Going through a full range of motion, particularly emphasizing the negative portion of each contraction, is crucial for optimal results. Additionally, the seated crunch machine does little to activate your deep tissue core stabilizer muscles. These stabilizer muscles plays a vital role in spinal stability and overall core strength. If you continually increase the weight load on this machine without first strengthening your stabilizer muscles through other exercise, you significantly increase the risk of spinal injuries. Therefore, it's recommended to focus on alternative exercise that engage a wider range of motion and target the deep tissue core stabilizer muscles, reducing the reliance on the seated crunch machine for abdominal training. Last but not the least, number 6. Butt Blaster. Let's discuss the Butt Blaster machine. This machine is commonly used by women, but I have also seen men using it. Unfortunately, it is not particularly effective at targeting your glute muscles. Many people already have inactive glutes due to prolonged sitting during the day. When using the Butt Blaster machine, especially for beginners, they are more likely to activate their already tight and overworked hamstring rather than their glutes. It is also worth noting that some individuals believe this machine is safer than performing regular squats. However, focusing on perfecting your form and gradually increasing weights with exercise like barbell squats and dumbbell lunges will yield far better results for your glutes. These are the 6 machines that I recommend being cautious with. I should also mention exercise like upright rows, although they are typically performed in a barbell rather than machine. While there are other machines that you may not be worth your time, these 6 are the ones I consider most important to warn you about. Remember, everyone's body proportion and physical attributes are slightly different, so certain exercise may work well for some individuals without causing issues. However, it remains my belief that there are generally better, more effective, and safer alternatives to these exercises discussed in this context. Keep in mind that this advice is provided based on general observation and recommendations. It's always a good idea to consult with a qualified fitness professional or trainer who can assess your individual needs and provide personal guidance. And that's it. Thank you for watching the video. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.